Hello and welcome to How to Pixelmon with Xylophoney, your instructional Pixelmon guide. Now, I'm sure you know what all these items do, these TMs and Pokeballs and all that kind of stuff, but the question a lot of people ask is, what about the hold items? There's a lot of new hold items in the 3.0 update, in the 3.0.2 as of right now, so we're going to take a look at those today. Now, in general, we're going to take a look at all of the hold items, so let's look at first at the ones that help you with leveling. There's of course the EV ones that we went over in that episode previously, which are the anklet for speed, bracer for attack, lens for special attack, the weight for health, band for special defense, and the belt for regular defense. There's also the Macho Brace, which doubles the EV gain when you're fighting Pokemon. So you fight an Arbok, it would normally give you 2 attack EVs. In this case, it would give you 4 if your Pokemon is holding a Macho Brace. So all of these help you gain those EVs faster and are very good to have while training. There's also the Exp Share and Lucky Egg which increases your XP gained on that Pokemon, Exp Share, which gives XP to whatever Pokemon's holding it, splitting it off from the Pokemon that got it in the first place. Also the Everstone, which pretty much just prevents evolution, the Smoke Ball, which I threw under here because you can just use it to run away from battles if you don't want. If you have that on a Pokemon and you don't really want to be force battled, use a Smoke Ball. And the Soothe Bell, which increases happiness, which is very useful in evolving certain Pokemon, such as a Munchlax to a Snorlax, or a Golbat to a Crobat. Any of those kinds of evolutions that require happiness, the Umbreon and Espeon, those will all be benefited by a Soothe Bell. Now there's also just direct evolution items to help with evolving your Pokemon. This can be seen here. The Upgrade and Dubious Disc can be used to evolve Porygons. If you're lucky enough to get yourself a Porygon, you can make them kind of useful with one of those. You can use an Electrizer to evolve a Electabuzz into an Electivire, a Magmarizer to, I guess you can guess, evolve a Magmar into a Magmortar, and a Protector to evolve a Rhydon into a Rhyperior. These items have no other purpose besides evolving the Pokemon, so you don't need to worry about using those for any combat hold items. Now these two over here, they also do the same thing, but normally in Pokemon games they would give your Pokemon a chance to make the enemy flinch. However, in Pixelmon, flinching has not been implemented yet, so they actually don't do anything except evolve the Pokemon. Razor Fang will help you evolve a Gligar, and King's Rock will help you evolve a Politoed, well, into a Politoed. So that's how those ones work. Now, the items that you're going to want to use for your team and using in combat are going to be the combat items here. Of course, you've seen in the previous updates the Choice Scarf, the Choice Spectacles, and the Choice Band. The thing about these is they no longer just let you use whatever attack you want. They actually work now, so you have to only use one ability if you have one of these items on your Pokemon, which makes them definitely risky to use. Like, say I had a Choice Scarf on my Salamence, he would always get the first hit, but I'd only be able to use the one move I decide to use first on him. Which, say, if I used the Dragon move on a Dragon type, then they throw out another Pokemon, it's not going to be super effective, most likely. And that's really where a lot of advantages in battles come from. So over here we also have Leftovers and Shell Bell, which are kind of like healing items. The Leftovers, that gives you percentage amount of health back after every turn, so it's really good on Pokemon such as my Snorlax here, where it has a massive health pool, but not necessarily, more attack than that. And then there's the Shell Bell, which gives you 10% of the damage that you give back as health. So pretty much lifesteal. If I put this on my Caesar, he doesn't have that much health, but he has a lot of damage. He's mostly trained in defense. So if I put that on him, then he would gain a good amount of his health back every time. We also have here the Metal Coat, which is also an evolution item used to evolve a Scyther into Scizor, but it also increases the damage done by steel moves. So that being said, this is an item I would normally put on a Scizor because I have 2 steel moves on him. There's also the Cell Battery, which if you are attacked by an electric attack, it will increase the amount of attack damage you do. So if you think you're going against a Pokemon that's going to use an electric attack on you, put a Cell Battery on it, it'll increase your own stats while you're getting hit by it. I don't personally favor this item, but it can definitely be useful in certain situations. Then there's the Metronome, which is a very interesting item. It increases your damage by 20% every time you use the same move. So if your Pokemon is the kind of one that uses the same move over and over again, then you definitely want to consider having a Metronome on it. This makes it so the move gradually increases in damage as you keep using it. Say you're just spamming Earthquake all the time, then you should definitely consider a Metronome. This gives you a long-term benefit similar to the choice items without necessarily locking you to the commitment that it gives you. However, if you do use a different item, it does reset the amount it's increasing you by, so keep that in mind. And then finally we have the wide lens, which is good for increasing accuracy by 10%, I believe. This is really good on those trolley Pokemon you have, or any Pokemon that has low accuracy moves. If you want to make sure your Blizzards and Fire Blasts hit, you could use a wide lens, or if you're trying to get Sleep Powder or Supersonic to make sure those hit, go for a wide lens, and that'll always be helpful. So I'm going to demonstrate by putting a few of these onto my Pokemon here. My Salamence, as you've seen before, it has really good attack and speed, but a very versatile moveset. So I would definitely consider having a choice item on there just because it's good damage, but I think I prefer something like either a Shell Bell or a Metronome. So let's put a Shell Bell on him. Now Snorlax, as you heard me describe, he is just amazing with leftovers because his health pool goes up by 1%, and it's over 300 health, so it's going to do a lot. Now Zoroark, if you don't remember, he has had a somewhat limited moveset. He only has one dark move, which is his type, and that's not necessarily good for him because I believe it's physical. So what I would probably do on him is put a choice item on him. Choice Spectacles will definitely help that out. Now on the Scizor, he uses a few metal moves, so Metal Coat won't give him any negative effects, but it will definitely give him positive effects. Now Mamoswine, if we look at him, he definitely has health and attack as some of his best stats. This really puts us in an interesting situation when trying to pick his item out. All his attacks are physical, so we're definitely not using a Choice Spectacles, but it would not be bad to use a Choice Band. However, it would also not be bad to use something like Metronome, so if we are firing attacks off on him, then if we just spamming Earthquake, perfect example, then it'll continue to grow in power. So I think I'll actually go for a Metronome on him. But it would also not be a bad thing at all to use leftover Shell Bell or a Choice Band on him. It really just depends on how you plan to use it and what you want limited and increased. So I guess that's pretty much all I can explain about the hold items. If you have any more questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. If you have any Pokemon you want to see me go over specifically, leave them down in the comments below. I'm going to be going over specific Pokemon from this point forward in the series, and obviously addressing any questions you guys have. So make sure you let me know what you're interested in seeing, because that's what we'll be doing. Alright, also make sure you check out the server. The IP is down in the description below. Make sure you send a message on Twitter if you have any additional questions or suggestions. And I guess I will see you next time on How to Pixelmon. Goodbye!